I'm excited to present the fiscal year 2024 budget. The proposed budget document is available on the city's website. The budget summary letter, which begins on page 1, provides an overall summary of the changes from last year and the capital projects planned for the next fiscal year. I won't read it to you. I know you can do that on your own. I do, however, want to briefly explain the process that staff went through this year to develop this budget, and also share the main highlights with you. In prior years, the budget was prepared using the incremental budgeting method. This year's budget was prepared using the modified zero-based budget and target-based budgeting approaches. Each department was required to prepare a budget request as if it were being done for the first time, while focusing on the department's targeted essential service areas. Departments also considered the goals of the mayor and the Board of Aldermen when preparing their requests. While departments were preparing their budget requests, finance staff was identifying the available resources for fiscal year 2024. Revenues were projected using historical trends and current conditions, and also known information. Of the total $25.8 million of projected revenues in next year's budget, approximately 31% are anticipated to be generated from charges for services, 23% from sales tax, and 19% from debt financing. Finally, available resources were allocated to principal and interest payments on outstanding debt and core and essential services. The fiscal year 2024 highlights are based on providing essential services and also on achieving mayor and board priorities. One of the main priorities of the board and mayor this budget year is attracting and retaining existing employees. This resulted in a new proposed salary plan for all budgeted positions, which is based on current market rates for other public sector employees with similar education and experience. Additionally, a one-step merit increase for all eligible employees on their anniversary date, as well as an allowance for an additional step for exemplary service, is included. Increased funding for employee training and professional development is also in next year's proposed budget, along with 6 new full-time positions, which are made up of 2 additional police officers, a payroll accounts payable clerk, an economic development director, an assistant utilities and street director, and a GIS IT specialist. These positions are expected to reduce overtime costs, allow employees to take accrued time off, and increase core service levels. Critical planning for the city's many infrastructure systems was also a priority in the fiscal year 2024 budget. Wastewater, water, stormwater sewer, and transportation systems will all be studied and analyzed to ensure that the city is proactively addressing maintenance, as well as planning for the replacement of failing infrastructure that has reached the end of its useful life and planning for future growth. Costs are also included to finish up the I-35 and 19th Street interchange, including the roundabouts at 19th Street and at Nation Road. Substantial completion of this project is planned for the November 2023 year, with the final completion expected in May of 2024. Also included in the proposed budget is funding for the construction of Hall Park. This project is contingent on the city receiving a $500,000 Land Water Conservation Fund grant. We hope to hear some positive news about this grant award in the next few months. Funding has also been included to replace both the 12th Street and Shadowbrook stormwater culverts, which have reached the end of their useful lives. A 1 million gallon composite water tower is also planned to replace the current I-35 water tower and will be funded with debt financing. Additionally, water plant upgrades have been proposed to address water, taste, and odor issues that are a result of our water mixing with Kansas City's water. Our plant uses a different type of chlorine disinfectant than Kansas City uses. So funding in this budget will change our plant to match Kansas City, Missouri's disinfectant method using chloramines. The proposed budget partially funds the engineering and design costs for the Route 33 connector trail. Additional funds are expected to be needed from use tax collections in future years to complete the design. And finally, the cost of a feasibility and community engagement process for a city aquatic center is included, which is being funded by the shops at Kearney CID through a reimbursement agreement. There will be a community engagement process that will take place during fiscal year 2024. The process is expected to result in 2 ballot issues next April that would finance the construction and operation of an aquatic center. Through the community engagement process, residents will determine what features they need and want in an aquatic center. The annual budget is both the city's financial plan and policy document for the entire fiscal year. Adoption of the annual budget is the board's single most important duty. On Saturday, February 18th, we will meet to go into more detail about what is included in the fiscal year 2024 budget, especially what has changed from the previous year. I look forward to sharing more about the fiscal year 2024 budget at 10 a.m. on Saturday, February 18th. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation and learn a little bit about the highlights of the 2024 budget.